It's been a while. I accidentally took a break. I didn't mean to, but I did. And oh shit, that's embarrassing. Hi guys. I had to change my setup because my dumbass didn't charge my phone before streaming, so we're back to the webcam. But that's okay. But welcome in, everyone. We have defeated the numbers. We have defeated the numbers. Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
Dex!
Ah! Thank you. I really hope that Ryan, thank you. I know we've had issues with sound alerts. I really hope it's also working on y'all's end too. I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting that early into the stream. But Ryan, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Celia, thank you so much for the 13 months. You have 13 PlayStations. But now, oh shit! Did you see my eyeballs? They were like, I can kind of wink now, even with the webcam too. That's cool. Yay! Okay, so I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell you guys, but I can't remember what it was. I deadass cannot remember what it was. I don't know. It probably wasn't important then. But anyway, I'm gonna oh yeah, the schedule. That's right. Skyrim Sunday. We're getting our shit together. We're getting our shit back on track. Let's talk about what's up and what is down for this week in EB. Oh wait, where's the... That's the old schedule. Fuck, where's the new schedule? Okay, I wasn't prepared. I thought I was prepared. Her ass was not prepared. Did I not download it? Okay, basic. Oh wait, no, I put it in Discord. Hold on, let me find it. Cause I said, I'm like, Skyrim Sunday is like our, you know, this is our time to get our shit together. It's our reset. If you had, I almost saved my stream schedule to my taxes folder, god damn it. It's our time to be ready for the week ahead. We're gonna be ready for the week ahead, alright? And if you're not, then, but anyway, this is the schedule. Oh, fuck, hold on. Here. Wait, no, fuck. Schedule? Here, no, up at the front. Haha! This is the schedule. So, unfortunately, I may not be able to stream next Sunday, because good news, baby Evie, tiny Evie, my little sister is coming home from college. So she's not that tiny because she's like a grown-ass adult who honestly has her shit more together than I do. Good for her. But I will be streaming Wednesday. If you've been watching me for a really long time, you know that I have autism, one, and two, I love Disney World. Not in like just the cringe Disney like adult way, although don't get me wrong, I am a cringe Disney adult. But I also just really like the lore and the history and knowing how shit works. So I have a lot of opinions, and I want to start doing Disney streams again. So Wednesday, I'm going to give my opinions that I think would make Karen's mad at me about Disney World, because I don't think Magic Kingdom, I don't think Haunted Mansion belongs in Magic Kingdom, and I want to talk about it. Sister stream, I would, but we're leaving at like 6 a.m. to go bring her back. And it's like, I don't remember how long the drive is, but I know it's like a decently long drive. I do want to do a stream with my sister at one point. It'll probably be in summer, honestly, when she's home a little bit more. And I know I want to do a stream with my dad too. My dad's been telling me, he's like, we should do a stream together. And I'm like, okay. But it's don't get me wrong, I love my dad. But we did have I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but my dad's really into NASCAR. Okay, my dad fucking loves NASCAR. And I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. I'm not sure if it'll be legal. Well, okay, that sounds really dramatic. We thought about having an idea of me and my dad. My dad tries to explain NASCAR to me, and we watch a race together and we stream it, and we maybe bring some of my friends along too. Because I don't know shit fuck about NASCAR, but I want to know the lore. But I don't know if we'd be allowed to just deadass take a NASCAR race and put ourselves on it. I think I might get copyright claim for that one. But I think we're ready to get going. Are we ready to Skyrim our Sunday? I think we're ready. Is that too small? Let me make myself a little larger. There we go. I can be a little larger as a treat. All right, turn off my background music. Bonk. Okay. It's off. We're good. We're ready to start. Side note, so David, I woke up like 45 minutes before stream. And one of the things One of the things that happened before stream was I didn't get out of bed for a decent amount of time. Not because I wasn't like ready to get out of bed, but do you ever have a nightmare that's like so kind of, you ever have a nightmare where you're just like, it felt too real? Because I had one of those recently. But it was like stupid. Okay, I had a dream that our apartment was like infested with bugs, and in our kitchen were 3 large spiders, and they were like white and blue, which is like, I don't think colors that spiders normally are, which is like a red flag, you know? But I was just kind of fucked up about it, so I didn't leave. I didn't leave the kitchen for a while, and David's just like, are you good? Like, are you okay? Also, look at our posse. Oh, I accidentally lost my virginity again, but happens to the best of us. Then I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. Hi, besties. Okay, so last time on Dragon Ball Z, here's the skinny, here's the tea. We now know blood magic. Yippee! So we have the Hemomancy mod working. There's also another blood magic mod I want to look into. I just am not sure if they're compatible. I think they should be, because I think they, it just adds extra spells. I don't think it would fuck with anything with this. Have Dad me play the old PlayStation NASCAR game? Okay, that would kind of go hard, actually. Oh my god, I forgot my water. I'll grab it later. That's okay. But basically, we now have access to blood magic, which is cool, because this character's whole shtick is she's like a noble princess lady who follows down the dark path. And while some people's, you know, dark paths are, oh, Bubba, thank you so much for the sub. A year of the thank you for the year of PlayStation's Bumble. I know, it's crazy how time flies. I feel like it's like, I've now been doing my new content more than my old content, and that's kind of crazy to me. But thank you for all the PlayStation's gamer. I appreciate it. But basically her backstory is she goes down a dark path, and some people's dark paths is they start doing cocaine. Well, this bitch starts doing blood magic, which is, I don't know which is worse, blood magic or cocaine. I guess it depends on what universe you're in, because I feel like in Skyrim cocaine would maybe be worse, but like in Dragon Age, you do blood magic in Dragon Age, like cocaine is fine, but blood magic is where I draw the line. That's how it is in Dragon Age. So I guess it really depends. So I believe, yeah, they're all in the destruction category. So we have blood drain, so we can do the suck. And something to keep in mind is all of these cost health. Okay, all of these cost health. So something we're gonna start doing is we're gonna need to start giving Vanya some beef. Yeah, we have a regular drain, and then we have the big boy drain, and we also have some other stuff too. But I want to get used to these before I kind of add on to that, right? But that's the big thing is, you know, let's try it out on the Saber Cat and see how that goes, just to kind of train with it a little bit more. The thing with Vanya though is, and I kind of planned for this because I thought it would be fun, like lore wise. Let's see.
What a big bad kitty!
Oh, what a big bad kitty! Thank you, Inigo. Very cool. I don't know if they'll give me a... What? Wait, what? Did she just pass out? I'm wondering... This happened last time we tried to use the spells too, so I'm curious. I'm like... Did she pass out because she lost too much blood or something? Because that's kind of what I was leading to, actually. Is the thing with Vanya is, she's a little, like... anemic? I killed myself with a spell? Okay, that adds up. I was not looking. Her ass was not looking at her health bar. God damn it! It took me to Markarth! I don't... What?
Finally, somewhere not dark, where we won't be attacked by...
No, it's Markarth! This is not... No, this is not good! How did it take me to fucking Markarth? Well, yeah, I guess I'm not illegal now because I committed like tens of thousands of septums of crimes here, but I guess people are like cool with me. Yeah, nothing ever good happens in Markarth. Yeah, that's why her ass is leaving. So that's the thing with Vanya is I like the idea that she's like, ooh, I've discovered all this blood magic. There's so much power to be untold, and then she passes the fuck out because she's anemic. Like. So she's gonna have, I think, a blood magic training arc. I like the idea that she has like a Rocky style montage of her just like trying to be slightly like more healthy and buffer, because she's skinny, right? She's like real skinny. She is like she's a skinny legend. That's all I'll say, you know. Okay, definitely. We'll do... I don't think we have the chutzpah for blood drain yet. So we'll do drain health, and we'll do just the left as ice spike, I think. Because we do not have the chutzpah for both of them yet. And that's okay. But the... Honestly, this is why, as you all know, I'm writing a book about my OCs, Vanya being one of them. And I've had some serious writer's block lately. My goal originally was to do, like, 2 chapters per month. Or 1 chapter a month. 2 chapters a month would be brutal. But basically, that just didn't turn out this month because 1, I've been really busy this month, which makes sense, but 2, I've just been the brain juices were not brain juicing, and I've even had, it did feel kind of nice to have people ask me about it, like, when's your next chapter coming out? Because it's like, oh, people want to know, people care about my story, that's cool. And then I have to be like, I'm sleepy. I know I haven't, I'm sorry. So, I have a few quests for us to do today. And we did a lot of Wormstooth last time. I think we pretty much finished Wormstooth. We killed the dragon and all that. There is still some stuff that we can explore in Wormstooth, but we are done for the most part. So, the quest, I want to go back to the main quest, because we were kind of putting that off. I want to find Recorder's file. So Recorder, our so quirky yandere robot bitch, I guess, has apparently lost some of her files during her travels. And we said we'd help her out. She's a little insane, but we said we'd help her out, you know? So we're going to try to find her recordings. That I'd like to do. We are going to finally do diplomatic immunity. We are going to go through, I don't think we're going to do Forbidden Legend yet, because I kind of want to wait on that until we do College of Winterhold. Honestly, with such a mage-heavy character, I'm kind of surprised we haven't done College of Winterhold yet. But I feel like it's like one of those things where I'm saving it, which is hilarious, because objectively, College of Winterhold is not a good quest line. Like, it's not like I'm saving the best for last. I just, I'm kind of procrastinating on it. Like, I know I need to do it for Legacy, but, like, I don't want to. So, we are also going to keep working on building the guild house, and I would like to see what's going on with the cultists. So, what we're going to start with, because we're in fucking Markarth, is I guess we'll actually go back to Solitude, and we will get our ass going on diplomatic immunity, which, again, the main quest is not the most fantastic thing in the world, but it's fun. And I like it. Like, diplomatic immunity is a fun quest. Overall, like, this out of the main quests, this is my favorite quest, but it's not the worst either. I enjoy it. So, oh, fuck. That's my arch nemesis. Let's go in, talk to Malborn, and see what the fuck is up. Alright, let's go in. I just write whatever scene comes to mind. That's the thing, is I want to write out of order sometimes, but then I, like, get fucked up from a world building perspective, because then if I go ahead, it's like, shit I haven't figured out yet. That's my problem with that approach. Hi, Malborn. Our mutual friend sent me.
Really? You're who she picked? I hope she knows what she's doing.
You motherfucker!
I can smuggle some equipment into the embassy for you.
You the right!
Don't plan on bringing anything else in with you. The Thalmor takes security very seriously.
Well, clearly Delphine does not take her job very seriously, because your ass is sitting in that chair.
I'll make sure to get it into the embassy. The rest is up to you.
You don't look like you know what you're doing either. You look like a bitch. What kind of things should I bring?
You're asking me?
Oh my god.
She promised that she was
Sorry
sending someone who knew what
that
they
I
were
want to
doing.
make sure I'm prepared.
If you actually want to get out alive,
okay?
I'd bring whatever you need to move quietly.
I just want to make
kill
sure
quickly.
I know what's going on, okay? Make sure you have a hard save before you start. Good plan. Well, Malborn, you're a bitch. I need a second to, What gives you the right? Who are you? I'm out here adventuring, doing cool shit, and you're sitting around in Solitude, which is arguably one of the nicer places to be sitting around in Skyrim. Doing what? Doing fuck all.
You ready yet? I need to get back before I missed.
All right, I'm ready.
Remember,
I'm ready.
you won't have anything. Okay.
Right, here's what I
I'll
need.
get this inside the embassy for you.
I
Gotta
need
go.
my circlet.
I'll find you at the party.
I need
Don't
my.
worry.
Wait, am I just gonna be naked if I give him my clothes? Cause I need all of this. Oh fuck, I'm gonna be naked, aren't I? Should I keep my clothes? Cause she doesn't have weapons. She doesn't need weapons. Dude. Do I keep my am I gonna be naked? I need my stuff. Delphine will give you party clothes. Oh, okay. Well, what about right now? All right, I guess he'll have all that. I don't think there's anything else I need. Stash my clothes right now. Okay, my biddies are gonna be fine out. Fuck it, this guy's an asshole. I'm gonna be like trying to change into clothes for my mission. He's gonna be like, damn it, you got small tits too. What a fucking dick. Yeah, now you can't even speak. Just what I thought. He's probably like talking. I know it's probably a bug, but I imagine him being like, okay, this is the end. Speak up. If you're gonna talk shit, speak the fuck up. I hate him. I did not remember him being this much of a bitch. Why is he? And now I'm naked. God, Malvern, you're a dick. I feel
Your
like
job is to get into the party without being fingered as a spy.
without being fake. Without being what? What? Where'd the music go? Why is it so
Your job is to
quiet?
get into the party without being fingered as a spy.
I don't want to
I'll
be
take care of the rest.
fingered. No. First they take my clothes, now they're gonna finger me? What kind of stealth mission is that? I did not sign up for that.
Your job is to get into the
I
party.
yeah,
without
I
being
get it. I
fingered
get
as a
it.
spy.
Okay, what am I?
I'll take care of the rest.
Okay. All right. Aren't you embarrassed? Yeah, I am. I am embarrassed. Thank you for pointing it out. Jesus Christ, your job is to not get fingered. That's on you. Yeah, I can fuck him in any other way, but if I get fingered, it's over. It's so fucking over. That's what he said. He's like, your job is to not get fingered as a spy. There is literally, you could have phrased that any other way. Literally any other way. Your job is so you can't have them figure out you're a spy. Oh, you can't have them know that you're a spy. Oh, you can't have them pin you for a spy. And I mean, like,
Have
I guess
you given
that,
Malborn
like,
the gear you want to smuggle into the embassy?
Yeah, he's fine.
Good. I have your invitation to the party. But the only way you're going to
Don't
get past
wanna
the guards
get
is if they
fingered by
really
the
believe you're an
Thalbar.
invited guest, which means you need to look the part.
Getting
and not
fingered
be
by
armed to
anyone
the
else
teeth.
is fine, but not
Here,
the fucking
Put this
Thalmor.
on. When you're ready,
20 minutes back in,
I'll keep
and
the
we're
rest of
off
your
to a
gear
great,
safe until you
great
get back.
start. Okay.
you'll only have what Malborn smuggled in for you,
God damn
plus
it.
whatever
What
you can
did you
pick
on
up
stream
inside.
today, Evie? I don't know. I got fingered by the Thalmor. That's what happened. Shit was crazy. Their fingers were long and pointy, and it hurt. Okay, let me put on my party clothes. Yeah. Oh, I look like a skank. Is this supposed to be bougie? This does not look bougie. This is... Did you get this off, like, the Skyrim equivalent of Shein? Like... What kind of Timo-ass bullshit are you sending me with?
I guess that will have to do.
I guess.
You should pass for a
The
real guest,
Thalmor
at
would
least
not
until
trim their
you open
nails.
your
You're
mouth.
right. They wouldn't
Ready
know
to board
shit
the
about
carriage
that.
to the embassy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Don't worry, it will all be waiting for you when you get back.
It fucking
Just
better
make
be.
sure you get back out of there alive with the information we need.
I feel like the
Good
Thalmor
luck.
will use a gauntlet or glove because they're too high and mighty to use their hands. Yeah, you know how they say about, like, people that don't eat pussy? That's like a whole another... the Thalmor are the types of bitches to put, like, latex gloves on. That would hurt, though. Can you imagine being like... Because sometimes, like... Okay, I'm gonna be... Can I be so fucking for real for a second? Just, like, so fucking for real. Okay? I have looked at my fair share of Skyrim porn in my time. But, like... I don't know. Anytime I see them doing, like fingering someone with, like... With, like, glove... Like, the armor gloves on? That shit's pointy. That's gonna hurt. That ruins my immersion right away. No, you can't have these fucking and the rust. Sometimes that armor has rust on it. You want a sepsis speed run? I do not think so. This is Canley's idea of high class. Listen. I am so ready. Listen, I will give him
Thank you, ma'am.
I will give him all of the tea
Now then, here's my
on
invitation.
cute dresses.
I don't have a poison
And I
bag
mean, don't get me wrong.
stuck in my
Here's the
thumb,
thing.
so
It's not the
I'm just
length.
doing
The
my
length
duty,
isn't an
sir.
issue.
Everything's
Okay?
in order.
It's the pattern.
Thanks,
The
sir.
pattern looks like it's like jammies.
Yes,
Like this
yes.
looks like something
Now,
I'd wear
find
to
myself a
bed. You know? Give me like some more like gold trim, some more colors. You know? I get that it's based off the original. Like, and what are these shoes? What are these shoes? Okay, give me my fucking like stilettos. Give me the stilettos. Give me the what are the shoes called? The Louboutins. Yeah. Give me those. Okay. I don't listen. Did it crash? God damn it. This is what I get for asking for the games. I know Burke's not here, but like that was him like taunting me. No, Evie, you're gonna get Shein dress and you're gonna like it. Hi, JK, welcome in, gamer. I did judge too hard. Listen. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the outfit in general. It's more of a Skyrim problem, not a collection problem, because I know it's based off the regular texture, and I think the regular texture, it looks too comfy, okay? Actually, hold on. Can I find it? I'm waiting for the game to come up. I hope this doesn't fuck with the launch of it. What is that, like, 2010s? I have an idea for what I should wear into the Thalmor Embassy. let me alt tab, but then I have Please let me alt tab. Please let me alt tab. It's still, the game's loading back up again. It's gonna start making noises at me. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, I have an idea. Okay, let me close my bank statement before I share my screen. Guys, I know what we should wear to the Skyrim, I know what we should wear to the Thalmor Embassy, okay? I know this is, like, controversial. Hear me out. Okay, just hear me out. Let me pull it up. I think we should wear, I think this is what we should wear to the Skyrim Embassy. Or, what, the Skyrim Embassy. I think this is what we should wear to the Thalmor Embassy. I'm just saying, I think this would go hard as hell. The 2010s zebra print homecoming dress. I think, like, listen, y'all just don't know fashion like I do. You just don't know it like I do, bro. I don't know. I think we should find a way to mod the 2010s zebra print homecoming dress into the game. I will pay money for that, actually. I think that'd be funny as shit. I don't know. I love, like, here's the thing. I'm 23 years old, okay? The next formal event I'm going to is going to be, like, Jingle and Aqua's wedding. But, like, I am past the age of proms and homecomings. And all that jazz, okay? But like, I like going into the prom dress stores, right? And the quinceañera stores too, where they have the really big ball gowns. I like just looking at them, you know? Oh, Volta! Welcome in, gamer! Thank you for the raid! Welcome to Skyrim Sunday. If you are new here, hello! Oh, you were playing Helldivers? I've heard so much about that.
Gaslight, Geekkeep, Girl Boss.
Follow. You are now a Gaslight, Geekkeep, Girl Boss. Welcome to the stream. Volta, thank you so much for the raid. Volta is one of my voice students. Thank you, gamer. If you are new here, hi. My name is EB Games, and along with being a vocal coach, it's always a fun time when my students raid me, because then I gotta give the listen. I am a highly trained professional, but this stream is just me talking about tits and playing Skyrim. So if you like tits and Skyrim, you're in the right place. But welcome in. We are about to go spy on the Thalmor in this really in this dress. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Here's my invitation.
Thank you, ma'am. Go right in.
Thank you. So this is the dress they gave us, the fancy dress, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It looks like something that came off of Shein. I'm sorry, but they literally, I'm telling you, dude, they were like, they took my clothes. I was butt naked until I got here. Okay, they just had me strutting around, and now there's this elf motherfucker who's mean to me, and I don't like it. He told me that the Thalmor were gonna finger me. That's what they said. He's like, you can't have them finger you as a Thalmor spy. I'm like, is there any other word we could have used?
Welcome. I don't believe we've met.
I know she's
I am
evil,
Elenwen,
but like,
the
hear me
Thalmor
out.
ambassador to Skyrim, and you
Hear me
are.
out. My name is Vanya Illery. Pleased to meet you.
Ah, yes. I remember your name from the guest.
Yeah, because I just
Please,
serve so much
tell me more
cunt.
about yourself. What brings you
I know
to
that
this?
she's like lying, but that's
to
okay.
Skyrim.
Here comes the I can fix her. Listen. Oh wait, let me.
Run out of the Alto
What?
wine. Do I have your permission to uncork the
Arinthia Red.
Of course. I've told you before
Ha
not to
ha
bother me
ha
with
ha.
such
How's it feel to have
Yes,
someone
Madam
talk
Ambassador.
down to you, huh?
My
Yeah.
apologies.
Yes, Madam Ambassador.
We'll have to get
Fuck
better
you.
acquainted later. Please, enjoy yourself.
Thank you, my lady.
I've spent many hours in council.
Interesting. Okay, anyway. If she fingered me as a spy, that'd be fine, but none of these other motherfuckers. Okay. Hi.
What can I get for you? You made it in. Good. As soon as you distract the guards, I'll open this door and we can get you on your way. Let's hope we both live through this day.
I want a drink.
Here you go, ma'am. The finest Colovian brandy.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else I can get for you?
I want another one. I'd like a drink.
We seem to have run out of Colovian brandy.
I know.
I'll check in the
look
wine
at me,
cellar for
Gamer.
more when I get a moment.
I know. I really.
We seem to have run out of Colovian brandy.
I was really hoping
I'll
I
check
could
in
just
the
be
wine
like,
cellar for
I'd
more
like
when I
a
get a
drink.
moment.
I'd like a drink. All right, I'm ready.
Of course. Let me see if we have another
Gaslight,
bottle of that.
Well, then,
gatekeep,
thank
girl
you so much
boss.
For the follow,
For
Gamer. You are
everyone
not
to be
Gaslight,
distracted.
girl boss. Thank you for the raid and for the follow. But yes, so we are doing one of the main quest lines. We are playing heavily modded Skyrim. I think we're running around 800 mods at this point. And that's why everyone, well, not everyone's hot, but a lot of people are hot. And that's why there's a lot of the skimpy, who are you? Let me, okay, I have a different playthrough to Romancer. Okay, I have a different, this is not my fucking everyone playthrough. This is my roleplay playthrough. Okay, I'm ready to go. Oh, I have to create a distraction. How do I create a distraction?
Some say the ship suffered
Only
damage from her
800?
hull
Yeah,
when
I
she struck
know.
an iceberg.
I'm an amateur.
And Captain
I'm
Safia
a
can't afford
rookie.
the
I'm
repairs.
sorry. How
Of
do
course, she
I?
would never admit such a thing. Captain Safia
Your
is
PC's a
far
jet
too
engine.
proud
Oh
a
yeah,
woman
she's
for
warm.
that.
She's warm. I could throw something. I mean, they didn't say how to make a distraction. Like, what's stopping me from just shitting on the floor? I mean, I guess that wouldn't make me look very good. I'll take that. Take that. Take that. Yeah, give me the plate too. Fuck it. Take that. Take that. Take that. Take that. Yeah. Mama's hungry. Okay. I mean, okay. How?
Are you enjoying the
Let me talk to the bards. If anyone's gonna know how to make the distraction, it's gonna be them.
Excellent. I'll leave you to it then.
Do you not want to talk? Okay, I guess not. What about you?
I find these parties such a dreadful
She's
bore.
really pretty. Holy fuck. If the parties bore you, then why do you attend them?
The East Empire Company has interests all across Tamriel, inside and outside the Empire's borders. We try not to get involved in politics. However, as the head of the company, it's my job to make sure we maintain good relationships with prospective partners and investors.
Does your company do business with the Thalmor?
A delicate question, to be sure.
She can also finger
I'm the
me as a
Emperor's
spy.
cousin, and
Just to set the record
Empire
straight.
has little
Just to be
love
clear
for
on
the
that.
Thalmor. On the other hand, the Thalmor have
I think
considerable
I know what
funds
I'm
and are
doing.
looking to expand their shipping.
I think I remember what to
haven't
do. It's
signed
been
any
a while
deals
since I've
yet.
done the main quest, but I
I'm
think
sure my
there's
cousin
like some
would wanna
people that I
cut
can
if
get to
I
like
do.
start a fight or
What better
something.
way to soothe his wounded pride?
Do you want me to help with something?
Oh? Something interesting, I hope.
Oh, hell yeah. I need you to cause a scene. Get everyone's attention for a few minutes.
I don't know. I don't want to do anything that might offend Ellenwood. There is a lot of money at stake, after all.
Don't worry. I just want to play a different one. Oh my god, another one! Welcome in! Paige, thank you so much for the raid! We're playing Skyrim! And everyone is beautiful! Welcome in, gamers! Paige, thank you so
Gaslight,
much for the raid!
gatekeep,
Chaotic
girl
Devil, thanks so much
boss.
for the follow. You're not Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. If you are new here, hello. My name is EB Games. And I love Skyrim and women. Hi. But welcome in. How was your stream, Paige? Nice to meet you, gamer.
Gaslight,
What did you
gatekeep,
play?
girl
Scully, thank you
boss.
so much for the follow. I appreciate that, gamer. Welcome in, everybody. So we are doing the main quest line. And basically, I'm trying to cause a scene. I'm trying to cause a commotion because I need to go do spy things. So I'm trying to get Victoria, which like gorgeous, to just be a little silly for me. I need her to just be a little silly on my behalf. You're playing Sonic Frontiers. Ooh. I have not played a lot of the Sonic games lately, but I like a lot of the music from the Sonic games.
I don't think so. Sorry. I would love to help.
It's okay
you,
to be a
but
coward.
Helen one can be very vindictive. I wouldn't want to get on her bad side.
All right, we need to find someone who is a cool silly, who's a silly Billy. Let's see,
Yes,
who's giving
I
me
agree with
silly
you.
Billy kind of
Have you heard
vibes
any
here?
news from the other parts of Scotland?
Not you,
I'm
definitely
sure
not,
that it's
definitely
news,
not
but
you.
Lately, it seems like every blacksmith in
What about you?
Scotland is out.
What does a fellow need to do to get a drink around here? Oh, pardon me, friend.
I actually have a
See you
drink.
stand.
I can give him my drink.
Allow me to introduce myself. Rosalind.
Hi.
Imports and exports by trade. Observer of human nature by avocation.
Hello. She's engaged. Yeah, she's the one you kill, if you do the Dark Brotherhood. So, canonically, because we are gonna do Dark Brotherhood later, she wasn't silly, so she has to die. If you're not a silly little guy, death. So, I brought you a drink. He's the guy we met outside, too.
One generous soul amongst a gathering of pinch pennies and lick spittle.
You tell him. You
If
fucking
there's
tell him.
anything I can ever do for you,
Here we
do
go.
not
Here we
hesitate
go.
to call upon me.
Actually, my good sir, there is something you could do for me.
Wonderful.
I love
can
him.
begin
He's
to
so,
repay
like,
your
just ready to go.
generosity
Ready.
immediately. Say on, friend.
I need you to cause a scene. Get everyone's attention for a few minutes.
Is that all?
Oh, yeah, that's all.
My
That's
friend,
all you gotta do.
You've come to the right person. You could say that causing a scene is somewhat of a specialty of mine. Stand back and behold my handiwork.
I would laugh my ass off. This scene would be 10 times funnier, by the way, if he just went and shit on the floor. Like, I think there should be a
everyone.
mod that just
Could I
changes
have
him
your
causing a
attention,
scene to just him just
I
being
have
like,
an
well,
announcement."
and I'm sorry.
Let's go. Let's go. Before anyone notices
I
us.
kind of want to see what the scene is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. I'll do spy things. Can I have my clothes back? Because I do not like the Temu dress. I would like it. I would like my regular clothes back.
Let me do the talking.
Okay.
So far, so good. Let's hope nobody saw us slip out.
It's dark
We
in
need to
here.
pass through the kitchen. Your gear is hidden in the
I
larder.
love realistic
Just
lighting
stay
until it's
close
realistic.
And let me do any talking. Got it?
Okay.
Follow me.
Okay. He's bad. He's calling Ella. Oh, is he actually? Wait, no. Let me back in. I want to hear the tea. I don't want to be a spy anymore. I want to see her
guest
get
feeling ill.
ratioed.
Poor Rechby.
Damn, that's crazy. Here, let me alt tab real quick just because my chat isn't scrolling. There we go. How many mods do you have on? I think around 800, something like that. I'm using the Immersive and Epic mod collection as a base, and then I add whatever else I want. I need to put my actual like
Rules, is it,
mod
Savani?
list, like modified mod
I
list
didn't
out there, but
realize that
ModWatch
eating
isn't
moon sugar
working
was
for me, and I
permitted.
don't know
Perhaps
why.
I should ask the
but,
ambassador.
you know. Yeah, you saw
Your
nothing.
gear is in that chest. I'll
Okay.
lock the door behind
I
you.
want my
Don't
cool
screw
outfit
this
back.
up.
Give me
Come on.
back
If
my
someone
cute
misses me
outfit.
at the party,
Okay,
we'll
here we
both
go. Ready? The magical girl transformation time. Let me do my little bump, 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 bump. Da, 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 da. And my 700 pounds so I can carry 800 pounds of garbage. Da, 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 da. Woohoo! I'm hot again! Yippee! Okay, now what? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, search for information about the dragons returning. Okay, well, let me alt tab out of it. There we go.
Hurry it up. I've got to get back before I'm missed.
Here, is it me? Is it just me, or is the volume of the NPCs a little bit too quiet? It might just be me. I turned up my volume on my side. Let's see.
Come on. If someone misses me at the party, we're both
All right,
dead.
I'm sneaking. I'm
Did you
sneaking.
see those robes
You're on your
marching
own
this
now.
morning? Huh? Who are they with?
Oh God, I don't know what was happening. Oh shit. Oh wait, no, they're babies. I was trying to sneak and then I immediately was detected. Okay. Oh, I need that for the museum. Ugh. Oh shit, I'm cornered. I need a woman. I need to spawn in a woman. Okay, where's my woman spawn move? Oh, where's my woman move? Woman move. Woman move. Okay, here we go. Aha! There we go. All right, woman. Oh my God, Lydia's here. Girl, how did she get there?
Do your work!
I don't think you can do your worst when there's a sword in your chest, my buddy pal friend. Okay, there we go. I don't know how you got here.
Yes, my thing?
But I guess you're sworn to carry my burdens. Damn, that's impressive. Okay, I do still need to try using out my more blood magic stuff, but I also don't want to pass the fuck out. So let's keep the woman on board. Let's do my conjuration. And then let's also do drain health, just so we can start getting used to it. I think having the woman on deck, since we don't have our total entourage, is gonna be helpful. Okay.
Where are you?
Hey, would you like a woman? There you go. Okay. She's so hot, she's on fire. Okay, I need to watch my health bar. Okay. Okay. This is the one that just heals me if I recall right. Oh my god, it does no damage. Okay, so that might be what it is, what the idea is. The idea is you do this and something else, because that heals you, but it doesn't really do much damage. Let's, cost 100 points of health. Okay, let me see, because here's the thing, is we have a mage character, so we've been putting all our points in Magicka. We have 220 health max, so I don't want to, here, I'm going to quick save, because I'm going to fuck this up at some point. I know I am. Let's go, what's the closest one? Costs 50 points of health. Blood is power. For 6 minutes, you lose 36 points of math health. Let's see. Blood tide. Yeah, I don't want to do anything that costs too much health right now. Transfusion. 7 points of blood damage to the target with 25. Yeah, let's do this one for now.
Well,
Okay.
that's how it's done.
Let's give that a try and see how that goes. Because I think if we wanna kind of juggle the suck and then the damage. Because if we run out of health, we are literally fucked. And I don't want to pass out and wake up in Markarth again. If I wake up in Markarth again, I will shit my pants. That's a threat. So let's go over here. I guess we're just balls out, just going for it. I'm really surprised the Thalmor boots aren't a display item. If you see, as I'm mousing over, if I'm walking over stuff and you see a little dragon logo with like a plus or a check mark on it, basically, oh, god damn it. Basically what that means is, there we go. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I'm doing it! I'm flooding! Oh, now give me your soup! Give me your soup! Her blood, give me your soup. It's mine now. Okay, thank you. Alright. Fuck you! Alright, now let me heal, Okay, I need to heal, I need to heal. Okay, I need your soup. Oh, God, he out damages me. Okay, let's switch back to Ice Spike just so we can do a little bit more damage. Oh, I missed. Come on. There we go. There we go. Thank you, targeting. Okay. Alright, come on. Okay, there we go. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh, now the whole squad's here. Okay. I will explain what I was going to say in a second once I am not getting murdered to death. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I guess we need to go this way then. Glad everyone's fighting. I love causing a scene. It's my favorite activity. Okay, we'll go through here. If they... I guess they don't know where I am. I guess my women are taking care of it. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Flame Lady. I appreciate you. The ladies are on top of it.
I earned it. I have my own expenses, you know.
Silence. Do not presume, Gissa. You are most useful, but do not presume.
Oh goddamn!
We
You
have
guys are
other
gonna blow my
informants who are
fucking
less-
cover. I love you, but you're gonna blow my cover.
But no one else has brought you such valuable information, have they? Is someone there?
God damn it. Okay. I made the mistake of moving. God forbid. Alright, you die, like, immediately. I really hope it's not... Oh, shit. I really hope it's not a bad thing that, I'm murdering everyone. I mean, objectively speaking, it probably is, but, like, I didn't go in with that being my intention. They hit me first. Oh, shit. Okay, here. Let's go. He doesn't have his shield up anymore. You should be okay. Come on. Alright, let me suck. Okay, so the suck is doing more damage. I think it depends on a few things. Alright. So the suck doesn't not do anything. Oh, okay, sorry. I almost sucked Lydia off. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to suck you off. Thundercrack. What's Thundercrack? That sounds cool. So basically though, if you see like something with this little icon and it has a check mark by it, what that means is it's for a mod called Legacy of the Dragonborn, which I stan. We love Legacy of the Dragonborn, but it basically gives you a museum where you can display all your goodies, all the stuff you grab. So I am trying to 100% the mod, which is difficult, but not impossible. So that's why I'm grabbing everything, because I want to display it in my museum because I'm on a thirst for knowledge. So it's basically a mod that rewards you for being a loot goblin. Like, see here, I also have the mod Unread Books Glow. And some of these I can add to my library, maybe? It looks like I have all these books already. Let's see. Yeah, none of these are books that can be added to my library, so I don't care, but I will take all of this. That looks like it's is for me. Wait, expert? Oh, right. Shit, I'm out of lockpicks. Okay, that's fine. I guess we'll just keep going then. Find clothes. Aha! But yes, it does reward you for being a horde goblin. And I love being a horde goblin. I love things. I even downloaded a separate mod to give me these little pouches, these little bandolier bags. So I could up my carry weight to 645 instead of 300. Because well, they also look cute too. Like, look at her little, here, let me get better lighting. I know that I'm about to like break someone out of prison and like, well, I'm not breaking anyone out of prison, but I am in a prison. The lighting here is really good. Let me kill you so I can take a selfie. It's really good lighting in here, okay? All right, there we go. Anyway, as I was saying, but like, look at her. She's got the pouches. She's got the little vial holder. Oh my God, it's cunt, right? It's so cunt. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I know that this might be a bad time. But like, thumbnail, hello? Oh yeah. That's my girl. That's my girl. Look at her. She's so cute. She's so pretty. She's so beautiful. Alright, anyway. Time to get some lore. So let's see what this says. Esbern. Alright, status fugitive. Capture only. Before I free these prisoners, let me grab a thumbnail. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone for me to free, but there might be. But, you know, I have my priorities straight. Okay, the fire lady, yeah, she's chilling. Okay, she's chilling. I'm reading her this as her bedtime story. Okay? Esbern was a Blades lore master prior to the First War against the Empire. He was not a field agent, but is now believed to have been behind some of the most damaging operations carried out by the Blades during the pre-war years, including the Feliniste incident and the breach of the Blue River prison. His file had remained dormant for many years, an inexcusable error on the part of many of my predecessor. There we go. Hi, Blastian. Who has been recalled to Alinor for punishment and re-education. In the erroneous belief that he was unlikely to pose a threat due to his advanced age and lack of field experience, a salutary reminder to all operational levels that no Blades agent should be considered low priority for any reason. All are to be found and justice exacted upon them. We are still in the dark as to the cause and the meaning of the return of the dragons. I have made capturing Esbern our top priority, as he is known to be one of the experts in the dragon lore of the Blade. Regrettably, we have yet to match their expertise on the subject of dragons. Oh wait, I didn't mean to. There we go. Which was derived from their Akaviri origins and is still searching for potions of fire. She is kind of bad though. Like, she is kind of bad. I don't blame you. Far superior to our own, which remains largely theoretical. The archives of the Cloud Roller Temple, which is believed to have been the primary repository of the oldest Blades lore, were largely destroyed during the siege, and although great effort has been made to reconstruct what we lost, it now appears that most of the records related to the dragons were either removed or destroyed prior to our attack. Thus, I love when bitches use the word thus. Thus, Esbern remains our best opportunity to learn how and why the dragons have returned. It cannot be ruled out that the Blades themselves are somehow connected to the dragons' return. We have recently obtained solid information that Esbern is still alive and hiding somewhere in Riften. Oh, does this mean I have to go to Riften? I hate I hate Listen. I hate Markarth. Actually, no, I hate Markarth more than I hate Riften. Interrogation of a possible eyewitness is ongoing. We must proceed carefully to avoid Esbern becoming alerted to his danger. If he is indeed in Riften, he must not be given an opportunity to flee. Okay, awesome, cool, very fun, very, very fun. Riften is like the Chicago of Skyrim. I mean, like, here's the thing, is like, there's cute parts of Chicago. There's nice parts of Chicago. Markarth is just... Markarth is... Wait, what? Did you hear that? Is there someone for me to help out? Oh, shit. You good? Oh, he is not good.
I don't know anything else about it.
I'm not here to torture you.
What?
Oh, hey, Davis.
What?
Could you
What do you
grab
want
me my
then?
deep cup?
Yeah. So, I don't... Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Sure.
crucify me
okay.
for being basic.
Come on, this
But
way.
my mom... I didn't
I've
understand
seen the guards use it to
the
get rid of
hype
bodies.
around...
Must
wait,
lead
what?
somewhere.
Okay, I do feel a little weird talking about my Stanley Cup while this man is getting tortured to death. Fucking David. I'll follow you.
Whatever you want. But let's go now.
Okay. There you go. Are there people? Are the girls fighting? Oh no, the girls are fighting! Oh wait, is that? Oh wait, Malboard dies. It's fine. I'm not. Oh, fine. Damn, I was kind of hoping he would die. But anyway, my mom. I didn't really understand the Stanley Cup hype. I'm gonna be honest. But my mom asked me if I wanted one, and I was like, sure, okay, cause like I'm a.
Stanley Cup? That's just a big cup.
No, she said it was a Stanley.
It says Hydro Peak on it.
My mom bought me a knockoff Stanley. That's crazy. I mean, I don't really care. But here's the thing, is it does keep the... I'm a voice teacher for a living. I need to sing. I drink a lot of fucking water. So, like, would I spend $40 on my own, like, cup? No. But, like, it was a nice gift. I can appreciate a cup that can hold a lot of water. Can you get the fuck out of my way? Thank you. All right, you good?
I saw guards dragging bodies over here. Might be a way out.
Okay, we can do that.
Let's get out of
here. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, Reeking Cave. Sounds lovely. The actual Stanley fails the lead check. Well, maybe I wanted the lead. You know me. Maybe I wanted the lead in my water. If buying a knockoff Stanley isn't love, then I don't know what love is. Listen, she also bought me a new pair of Crocs. I was really excited. Everyone bullies me for wearing Crocs, but I like them. Most people bully me for wearing Crocs. They were black Crocs because I wanted Crocs that were... Okay, this is gonna sound so stupid, but hear me out. Is there a Oh, hey, big boy. Oh, that's a big boy. Wait, hold up. That's not a normal... Wait, is it just me or is that a big fucking troll? Because he looks massive. No, okay, the normal pair of Crocs I have are admittedly kind of obnoxious, okay? They're hot pink and I have a bunch of the Disney princess gibbets in them. Like, I don't just wear Crocs, I put the gibbets in them too. The little things you can put in them to accessorize them. So I wanted a pair of Crocs that were a little bit more casual, okay? I didn't want to just rock out with my Crocs out all the time. I wanted to be a little bit more covert about it. Yeah, my mom bought me Crocs and she bought me my knockoff Stanley. And I'll be honest, I like my knockoff Stanley. I'm drinking so much water, right? Like, not to be dramatic, but I'm so based in health pilled. I'm using my Fitbit again. I'm going to the gym 5 days a week. I'm popping off, dude. I'm popping off. I'm drinking enough water. I have a meeting tomorrow with my personal trainer. I got a personal trainer because my gym had... I don't know if I'm going to stick with it because it is kind of expensive, but it's one of those things where, like, if she's really good, then I'll invest in it. But my gym had 2 free personal training sessions, and I've been going to the gym for a while now, but I've still been too shy to use them. But I want to learn how some of the machines work because I'm trying to lose weight before Off-Kai Expo. And I've already lost a little bit of weight, so that made me happy. Oh my god! What, the zombies? Okay, there's zombies now. Great. Okay. And I can't do blood damage to them because they don't have... Well, I guess they kind of have blood. Oh my... Wait. Is it just me or are they... They are taking no damage. Oh, you went to Off-Kai too? I was, if you don't know, I was the lady that conducted the choir at Off-Kai Live. That was me. That was me. So join the choir if you like to sing. I'm conducting again. But hi you there, welcome in, gamer. I don't like well fight it. Hell yeah. I need to figure out a different spell because this is. Can I use my blood dagger? Oh wait, no, that does no damage. Okay, I'm gonna pass out. One of my friends was Ray. Yeah. I love Ray. He's great. He's great. But yes, I will be conducting choir Off-Kai Expo again. I'm not to toot my own horn, but the arrangement this year is kind of a banger. We're including, yeah, I'm just gonna let them do their things. My ass does no damage. Her ass is not doing damage. But we're able to include a lot more agencies this year. We have songs from Hololive, we have songs from Niji, we have songs from Prison Project, we have songs from Production Kawaii, we have songs from like Hollow Stars. It's a lot more diverse this time. So I'm really excited, and I just love conducting. I love my job. I'm very excited. I'm very, oh my god, right in the nutsack! God damn, he's got the ice cock now! But anyway, I'm very excited and grateful that Off-Kai invited me back for another show. Stop hitting me! Anyway.
I am sorry.
I'm sorry. That was that sure was a conversation, wasn't it? Thank you, Wolfie, though. I appreciate you. Okay, let's here, I need my suck back. I need to heal up again. Here, drain health. There we go. That was a lot. That was a lot. Croc nuts. Oh my god. Wait.
Can't feel my body dying.
Girl, you'll be fine. It's Skyrim. You're fine. You're fine. Wait, you want me to control the fucking weather? No. Are you a bad person?
I guess I was just hearing things.
Yeah, you're just hearing things. I'm a good noodle. I'm just a good noodle passing by. This is me and my good noodle gang. Just don't mind us. We're good noodle gang. Hi, Raz. Welcome in, gamer. All right. So now that that's over with, since Recorder is cold, I guess we have to leave. But let's go back and talk to Delphine, because I caused problems and I left. Hi Ash, happy birthday! It's not my birthday, but thank you! But welcome in, gamers. But yeah, TLDR, I'm going to Off-Kai Expo again. I am trying to lose weight, and it's going really well. I've already lost some weight and I'm gaining a lot of muscle, but that's what I was talking about. I got a walking pad. Right? Because I love working from home full time and I'm very blessed and grateful that I get to do that. But I don't like just sit. Why are you? Every time I try to have a normal conversation with my chat, fucking Bjorn Longsword and his. Now I have to be small. Fucking Bjorn Longsword and his massive balls come in. And they just what? Hello? Bjorn! Bjorn! Wait, what? Who stole something? Wait, can I do something? Hold on, I wanna try something. Can I? Key to his house is called Morning Wood. Hold on. I would like to try. I would like to try something real quick. I'm quick saving. I just hold on. I just want to know. Okay, chat. I just want to know. I just. Oh wait, hold on. Why am I being? Why do I look like a JPEG? Hold on. I need to cover the whole screen with my face. Wait, it's not letting me. Here, let me Alt Tab. I would like to just let me just. Excuse me for a moment. I have some research I need to do for science. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Alright, come here. Give me that. Wait, what? God damn it, the one time my mods actually work? Wait, is it working? Hold on. No! I pickpocketed his underwear. Fucking the one time my mods actually work, there's no cog. No balls. This is so fucked up. This is so sad. I literally stole his fucking underwear. And normally, I have so many issues with fucking PPs in Skyrim. They're always just popping out all over the place. The one time I actually wanted to. No cock. No balls.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything.
I wanted to see Bjorn Longsword's longsword, but I guess nothing is sacred. We can visit Morningwood. This is so sad. Can we get 50 likes? We will visit Morningwood. Cause I kind of want to check out Morningwood, the apartment, I guess. Hey.
You made it out alive at least.
Hey, I know like the dragons are returning, but have you seen that Bjorn Longsword guy? It's like, that was crazy. Anyway, the Thalmor don't know shit.
Really?
Really?
That
they
seems
do.
hard to
Oh
believe.
no, my tits!
You're sure
Fuck!
about
I
that.
forgot to turn on my tits. My tits. My tits. Oh no, my tits aren't on. My tits. My fucking. My tits. Hold on. Stop everything. Stop everything. Stop everything. My tits. My tits. My tits. My tits. My tits. My tits. My Twitch integrated throwing system. You know, my tits. You didn't know? You didn't? Thank you. I deserve that for that pun. Seems like you didn't enable the jiggle physics. Fuck yeah. Wait, do you mean on me or on Delphine? Because either way, the answer is yes. Listen, I had a lot of problems with my models being stiff, but I like being like, I like being wiggly, okay? I like to move around a lot. It's fun to wiggle. Everyone needs to wiggle every once in a while, you know? The main problem this model has is like she looks high a lot of the time. Like, right? Like if I do this with my asshole, she looks so fucking faded, dude. Oh, Delphine? Yeah, listen, I like big boobs. And sometimes that comes with some funky little physics. I don't know how they work, but I like boobs. Hi, Saber, welcome to Gamer. Why'd you, yeah, they're looking for someone named Esbern.
Esbern?
But thank you, I'm glad
He's
you guys
alive?
like the chibi model. Thank you
I
for
thought
the
Thalmor
the
must have
review
got him
of it.
years ago. That crazy old man. Figures the Thalmor would be on his trail, though, if they were trying to find out what's going on with the dragons.
What would the Thalmor want with Esbern?
You mean aside from wanting to kill every blade they can lay their hands on? Esbern was one of the Blade's archivists.
But yes,
back
thank
before
you
the
for the
Thalmor
chibi
smashed us during
Now
the Great
everyone
War.
can see my,
He knew everything about the ancient dragon
where's
lore
my,
of the
where's my
Blades.
button for my face?
Obsessed
Hold on.
with it,
Yeah.
really. Nobody
Look
paid
at my
much
chubby
attention
little
back then.
cheeks.
I guess he wasn't as
Feed
crazy
me
as we
Taco
all
Bell. I did not have to turn them off for a second. They seem to think he's hiding out in Riften.
Riften, eh? Probably down in
Yes,
the Ratway.
all stream
then.
proceeds
It's
go
where I'd
to
go.
upgrades
You'd
like
better
my
get to
3D
Riften.
debut and my
Talk to
Skyrim model,
Brynjolf.
and occasionally
He's well
Bach
connected.
Hotel.
A good starting point, at least. Oh, and when you find
Oh, God
Esbern,
damn
if
it!
you think
I have to
I'm
go talk to
paranoid,
Brynjolf, and
you
now
may
I'm
have
gonna,
some trouble
and then I'm
getting
gonna
him to
want to
trust
lick
you.
him.
Just ask him where he was on the 30th
Listen,
of
this
Frostfall.
character. Okay, Wrath, thank
You'll
you so
know
much
what
for the
it
hydrate.
means.
All right, we got the achievement for completing diplomatic immunity. We're not gonna seduce her. We'll seduce her in our other playthrough. That's for Wednesday stream. So yeah, so basically, okay, here's the thing. This playthrough is we're role playing. Okay, I have a character, I have goals for her, I have aspirations for her. This is an OC I care about a lot. I'm writing a book about her. If you do exclamation point book, you can read the first 2 chapters of my book. There is a 3rd chapter coming, but my brain is just scrunkly right now. But this is my serious playthrough. Okay, Wednesday is my hoe playthrough. Where I play my man slut Jasper and go around and fuck everyone. Where I'm on a challenge to seduce everyone the game will let me. So I have finished the game, but I re-enabled achievements. Because what happened is I got Skyrim Special Edition, I immediately started modding it. And normally when you mod Skyrim, it disables achievements, but then I recently got a mod that gets them back for you. That you can get your achievements again. So I did have the achievements, but then it like took them away. Or no, when I had them in base Skyrim, but I didn't have them in Skyrim Special Edition. So I wanted them back because I literally downloaded Special Edition, immediately started modding that shit. I think honestly, I would rather die than play vanilla Skyrim again. I'm gonna be honest. I know that sounds dramatic, but you're telling me I have to play Skyrim and not have a flowy cape and hookers?
Oh, did you need something?
Right, what's the point? What's the point? I had that on top of the LO. Yeah, I just it was one of those things where I didn't really care about it, and then I think it was included in the mod pack I used, so that's why I was like, woo, yippee, you know? So, you know, but let's see. Okay, I guess we have to go to Riften. I don't know. I don't like Riften, but I'll deal. I'm not going to throw myself. I'm not going to throw myself at Brynjolf. I'm not. I'm gonna be a good noodle. We're saving it for our other playthrough with our boy slut. This character is not for that. Okay, she's a good noodle. She is a good noodle. Okay. I don't know. I don't mind these members. I think they're okay. I like them.
Better yet, where are the baths?
What? You want to take a bath? Listen, here's the thing. Recorder's really cute, but she's also insane. I gotta draw the line somewhere. All right, be in the bar. Can't believe I'm in fucking Riften. Jesus Christ. Biggest enjoyment as a child playing on Mod Skyrim was watching the bandit bodies float down the river.
Welcome.
God damn it.
my
Okay,
work.
the menus are in mod. Wait, this is.
Return of the Dragons
Been
is
playing
not
this
mere
fucking
coincidence.
load order for so long. I don't
This is
remember
one
what
of
the
signs.
vanilla menu looks
Signs
like.
that Lady Mara is displeased with your constant inebriation.
Okay, I'm glad I have. There was a Brignoff replacer that was really good, and it's not this one. I think it's gone now, but I'm glad he's not as sexy as he was at one point. Okay. Hi, Brignoff.
Never done an honest day's work in your life for all that coin you carry. Hey, lass.
Okay. I'm sorry. What? Actually, let's go. Actually, I'm looking for this old guy.
Ah, expecting free information, eh? Help me deal with business first. Then we'll see how I can help you.
He's so
Besides,
fine, and
you
for
look
what?
like your
He's so
pockets are a
fine.
little light on coin. Am I right?
That's the thing is he has so much riz. Let me try to outriz him. Well, let me find him first. Puts finger on chest. Dragons are bad for business. Rar XD nuzzles you.
Passing on a golden opportunity is worse.
Fuck! What do you have in mind?
I've got a bit of an errand to perform, but I need an
Here's the
extra
thing.
pair
With
of
this
hands.
character,
And in
fuck
my line of
Brignoff,
work,
absolutely not. She does
extra
not give a
hands
shit,
are
okay?
well
She
paid.
is very much, while you were having sex, I was studying magic, okay? Hello? Oh, hello, Epic! Welcome in! Thank you for the bits, gamer. Come on in. The fire's warm. There's hot guys and girls, something for everybody, and I'm about to do larceny. Yippee! But thank you for the bits, gamer. What do I have to do?
Simple.
But
I'm
yes,
going to
would this
cause a
character
distraction.
go for Brignoff?
You're gonna steal
Absolutely
Medesi's
not.
silver ring from
Would
a
I?
strongbox under his stand.
Yes.
Once you
No
have it,
questions asked.
I want you
Okay,
to place
I don't
it
know
in
what it.
Branshade's
I know
pocket
everyone.
without him
I had
noticing.
someone in my TikTok comment section call me the Skyrim lesbian. They were like, "Oh my God, Skyrim lesbian! Yay, Skyrim lesbian's posting it." I'm not a lesbian. I'm bisexual. Dave is right there. Say hi, Dave. Hi. Like, I like everybody. You know, like I'm not a lesbian. Which, like, again, nothing against lesbians. I'm a big fan of the lesbian community. As a bisexual myself, we gotta stick together. But like, I just gotta be clear, which is also funny to me because David's in like all my like high view videos. It's not me that people want. It's David. So do people just think we're like really close friends? David, are we friends?
I mean, yeah.
Are we dating?
It's a good question.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you how I owned an
The Skyrim hot woman lover then. There we go. There we go. That works.
We're just really good.
Yeah, me and David are just really good friends.
I could take a hint, lass.
Sorry.
You wanna make some
I
coin?
got distracted.
Your pockets.
All right, don't here. I'll listen to you, and we'll see. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did have I'm not. Here's the thing. I did at one point. I used to work at an elementary school, right? I used to be an
Glad to
elementary
see
school
you
band
finally
director.
came to your senses.
Right. And
Ready to make some coin. Simple. I'm going to cause
I brought
a
David to a
distraction.
concert
You're
with me
gonna
at one
steal
point because I
Medesi's
needed some extra
silver ring
hands
from
to
a
help with the
strongbox
concert. Because
under
doing
his stand.
those little
Once you
elementary
have
school
it,
band
I
concerts
want you to
is
place it in
a
Branshade's
lot
pocket
harder
without
than
him
you think.
noticing.
Also, Epic, thank you so much for the 13 months, Gamey. I really appreciate that.
There's
Thank you for
someone
that in
that
the
wants
bits. I
to
really
see him
appreciate
put out of
you.
business
Thank you.
permanently.
You have 13 PlayStations.
That's all you need to know. I'll be out in the
But
market
like,
all
he
day.
came
from 8
in,
the
and
morning
the
until
kids
8
were
in the
like,
evening. Meet me then.
I
if you've
introduced him
still
as
got
my
the stomach for
boyfriend,
it.
you know, like I'm not gonna lie. But then one of my students, again, keep in mind they're 10. They were just like, I don't know, you guys look kind of related, and I had to, like pull her aside. I'm like, we don't say that to people. we don't do that, huh?
Do you want me to hold your hand as well? You're going to have to sneak over to Medesi's stall and use your lockpick on the strongbox. Then,
Didn't one
when
of
you
them
have the
also
ring,
ask you to start a
you
communist
pickpocket
revolution with him?
Yeah.
and leave it
Yeah.
behind.
And then we discussed capybaras for 5 minutes. That was
Yeah, that's trumpet players for you. Yeah, like that's that's what happens. Listen, here's the thing: people talk a lot of smack about
been
kids these
contracted to
days,
make
and
sure
not all of it
Branshaw
is
remembers
undeserved.
not
Like
to meddle in affairs that
behavior
aren't
among
his own.
students is part of the reason
No,
why I left the
since
classroom.
we're not the Dark
ultimately.
Brotherhood,
However,
we're not going to kill him.
some of them are
We're just
funny
going
as
to make sure
fuck.
he sits in the prisons for a few days.
I'll never forget. Like literally, as long as I live.
I'll be at the market come
I
morning.
would never forget the one time we were. Holy shit, it's loud in here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to meet up with him in the morning, I think.
What wasn't I clear about?
Yeah, I guess I need to talk to him in the morning.
I'll be at the market come morning.
Yeah. All right, we'll get a room here and then I'll tell my story. Hold on. Hi, Kiraba.
Bless you, friend.
She's really pretty. I like the way she looks in this mod pack. Looking for an old guy.
Never heard of anybody like that. But if you want to hide out in Riften, the Ratway's where you'd be. There's a sort of tavern down there, the Ragged Flagon, where all the lowlifes in Riften get drunk and knife each other.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
You might try there.
I think I'd fit in there very well.
The Ratway alive.
Okay, yeah, I guess we don't need to talk to Brynjolf anymore. We will do Thieves Guild stuff eventually. I guess we can start it. I knew you were bi. I didn't know you were furry. Listen, I'm not a furry. I'm just saying, I think she looks nice, okay? I'm not a scaly, I'm not furry. I just think she looks nice, okay? She just looks nice, okay? Is that a crime? Is that a crime to say that some furry designs are very aesthetically pleasing, okay? Some of them are very nice. It's just, you know, like, I'm like, not for me,
Sure
but like,
thing.
I can admit when a furry looks good, right? Oh, she's gone.
I'll show you.
Oh, hey.
Hi there.
Hi there. We're saving the wench quest for Wednesday. We're not doing any wenching. We're saving the wench quest for Wench Wednesdays.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, God. Me too, Ash. Me too. Okay. We're saving it for Wench Wednesday. We're saving it for Wench Wednesday. I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to right now, okay? Hi, Sapphire.
Yeah. What's your problem?
Bye, Sapphire. So, okay. Basically, though, one of the things I will never forget from my education career, I think it was my second year in the classroom. Yeah.
Let me know if
wait,
there's
why
anything else
does the
you
room
need.
come with a wench? Hold up. Like, are you just... Oh, there was a mod I missed. I had some problems with my load order of accidentally
Hello,
having conflicting
friend.
mods. I guess I forgot to fix this one, so I'll fix it after stream. But
What can I do for you?
I don't know. I kind of want to keep it broken because the idea that the room like just comes with a wench to hang out with you is really funny to me.
I'll be seen.
Okay. I know it's. Oh wait, it is morning already. Well, shit. Okay. Well, I guess we have it for later. Yeah. He said come morning, and it's like 8 o'clock, or yeah, it's like 8 a.m. now. Okay, fine. Shit. Okay. Oh, fuck. I never ran an ad. Did it run an ad? I have to run ads or else Twitch gets mad at me and they turn pre-rolls back on. Did I do that? It's fine. Okay. It's whatever. That's fine. Let me see something real quick. There we go. Alright, here we go. Sorry, one of my friends DM'd me, and I don't really usually check my DMs on streams, but I just got out of context. I'm diagnosed as an alpha. And I'm gonna follow up with that friend later about that. Anyway, my posty's here. Yippee. Aren't pre-rolls better? I feel like it depends on who you ask, low-key. Some people like pre-rolls better, some people don't like pre-rolls. I feel like it's like a personal thing. Usually I run ads like once every hour because usually it gives me a chance to take a break. But OBS has been giving me shit, and they won't let me pull up the little panel that has all my buttons. So, it's whatever.
What can I do for you?
Where is Brynjolf? Isn't he supposed to be here right now? I guess not. Alright, well, we're just gonna go down to the Ratway. But anyway, it's after my second year of teaching. And with my job, basically, we would pull the kids out in groups, like, based on their instrument. Because, like, we wouldn't do full band except, like, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, because they're, like, just learning their instrument, right? You should do a DIY stream deck? You could do that? I didn't know you could do that. Stay out the Ratway? This won't stop me, because I can't read. But basically, I had a small group of trumpets, because it was a really small school. And I remember at one point, one of them was like, hey, Miss Evie, I'm going to start a country. And I was like, oh, that's great. And they were like, yeah, and then I'm going to steal all the nukes, so it's my country, and no one else's. And I'm like,
such a big baby. I've gotten us this far.
Okay,
This far? We're living in a sewer. You said we'd have a house
interesting.
as big as the Blackbriars by now.
You worry about bashing people's heads in.
Are you guys
I'll
friends or
worry.
not?
Hey, you. Stop right there. Empty your pockets or end
okay,
up
yeah,
as
you're not
Skiva
friends.
food.
I've killed dozens like you. I'm not
No
worried
need to
about
get
it.
hasty. I
Yeah,
was just
fear me.
testing you.
Fear me. I
You
will
can go
use
on
your
ahead.
blood as a
him
knife
go,
and stab
human.
you with it.
All clear.
All I need is one cut to get in there, baby. All right, there we go. I love blood magic. Actually, let's keep using some of it. Let me actually respec, because I kind of like the blood dagger. How much is that? 25 points of health. Let's just do that and that. We'll do that. I want to start using it more. I need to not be a baby about it. But at one point he was like, yeah, and then I'm gonna need a president and a vice president and someone that kisses everyone. And I was like, at first I thought he said someone that kills everyone, and that's why I had to be like, what? Because that's a whole ass report. Like, we can't let that slide, bro. But I remember, he was like, no, Miss Evie. That's not what I said. And I was like, oh, okay, that's good. He's like, no, I need someone who kisses everyone. And I was like, oh? And he was like, yeah. And someone was like, and the way he said it, he was like, yeah, we need someone to kiss all the boys and all the girls. And his friend asked, he was like, well, who's gonna kiss everyone? And they're like turned around like this, and he like dramatically turns to me as if like it's the office and I'm the camera. Oh shit. Who is this guy? Yellow, this guy. I'm trying to tell a story. Jesus Christ. Anyway, he turns dramatically to me and he goes, it'll be me. And I was like, whoa, hey, yo, let's get back to trumpeting. Let's get back to what we were doing. But it's one of those things where it's like, as a teacher, I can't condone that, but holy fuck, it was funny. He also like, I don't know, just, damn, that's crazy. What is in here? Have you learned to love yourself and others? Yeah, I love myself. That's what Lady Gaga told me about. I've already been through the trials. Yeah, as a teacher, what the fuck? As a person, kind of based. If what you say is true, then you'll know what I'm talking about. I have no idea what this is, by the way. Is the stone real? Stone was red and it was a fake. I was truly there. I don't know if I was, actually. I think he's supposed to be talking, but he's not saying anything. Did the one who sings get sung about? And did the puppet have a home? Yeah, her ass was not here. No. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I guess. I'm still right. Okay. Am I about to bullshit my way into another quest? Probably. Was anyone late for the Blood Matron's feast? Do you know their names? Oh, shit. There's no way. There's no way. No! You were wrong in all the right ways. You know there was someone there that shouldn't have been. This means you deserved. Wait, no, I did it! You deserve to see the blue star? Now come on in. Damn. Okay. I did hear about it, but as someone who works with VTubers professionally, I'd rather not talk about it. My job is I teach VTubers how to sing for a living, so I try to, like, avoid stuff like that. But I have heard of it, yes. He has no voice, but that's okay. You've been chosen. Oh, how I envy that man. I don't know how the fuck I got in here. Okay, alright. Who? Best not to call him. If you do so carelessly, he will come to you. But when the time is right, you will know his name, and you will welcome him. Okay. Just what are you doing in this dank? I know that's, like, in a historical context, the word dank doesn't mean, like weed. But anytime I see it, I'm like, damn, this place. Like, I grew up on, like, 2010's MLG humor. Anytime I see the word dank, I'm like, okay. Anatomacy, divination from the guts. Oh, shit. Okay, this could actually fit my character really well. Do I get blood magic and, like, gut magic? Can I, like, use my small intestine like a lasso? Yeehaw! I want to know more. No more secrets hidden in the flesh. What do you want me to do? I need a sheep walking on 2 legs. The stronger they are, the better. So full of future. What is bro talking about? Yeah, so if you play, this character, Vanya, originally started as a Pathfinder 2nd Edition character. Oh, you get crab? Nice. Welcome back. And in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there is a lot of spells that are just, like, that are just kind of gory. And, like, that's kind of the vibe I wanted for her, is like she looks very prim, proper, clean, but then she does really fucked up magic shit. And there's a spell in Pathfinder called Inside Ropes where you like you like claw your guts out of your belly and you can use them for like magic and stuff, and it doesn't do damage to you. It's really gross, but it's kind of fucking cool. So if you haven't tried Pathfinder 2nd Edition, if you're normally a D&D person, I highly recommend checking it out because you can use your intestines as a rope, and I think that's kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, she's evil. She's like lawful evil, but she's still like, she's not gonna like be a bad person, but like, well, she's not chaotic evil, but well, she's a little bit lawful evil. I'll bring you that sheep on 2 legs. Excellent. Here are the tools you will need. Okay. Anatomancer's pipe. Snatch a 2-legged sheep. What did he give me? Okay. Well, I guess we need to find a 2-legged sheep. What does this do? Where would one get a 2-legged sheep? Yeah, I'm not gonna kill you. Okay. Well, I guess we're doing blood magic and guts magic. What's next? Bone magic? Oh wait, I'm already doing bone magic. I've got my boner army. All right. We're involving the whole body in magic. All right, cool. At the sheep store? Oh, my bad. Whoopsie. I need to, okay, not to be dramatic. I can't fucking see anything. Candlelight. Boop. Okay, there we go. And now give me back the suck. All right. Who's down here? Oh, wait, what? Giant the Fist? Oh, shit! God! I pressed the wrong button! I pressed the wrong button and I killed myself! No. Oh, thank you! Oh, whoever just picked me up, thank you! Wait, what? Oh, no. Am I good?
Rest in pieces. It'll be easier for the skeevers to clean up your mess.
I thought someone revived me, but... What? Huh? Are you winning? I don't know. Let me reload. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know what the fuck happened there. What? That was weird. Did you see it? It was just a picture of her. Why was that kind of, I don't know. That was kind of like cool, but it was also kind of creepy because I didn't expect it. It was just like, damn. That's her. Hey. You have I think so, yeah. Or, do you mean SKSE or something else? Because I don't know what ski is, but I have SKSE enabled for sharesies. That was funky. Okay, well, let's try that again. Okay, this is why, the one thing I do wish is I wish there was some way to differentiate them. Because they do look the same, right? And blood drain is different than drain health. As silly as that sounds, right? Let me read that again. Blood drain. Drain health. Drain health is what I need. Okay. Let's try this again. You can just clip out of it. Yeah. That's true. I did kind of want to... I kind of wanted to... Yeah. Oh, well. It is what it is. Is that guy going to come back, though? Wait, what is this? Oh, climb up. Whoop. Let me up. Ooh. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see. Pull this thing. Cool. All right, there we go. Yeah, why am I so low health? I just noticed that. Why am I so low health? Because I was like, why did I die immediately? But I'm really... Hold on. Oh, okay, that's just an ego. Wait, why am I taking damage for healing? That was not blood drain. Okay, thank you, recorder. But that was fast healing. I most definitely casted fast healing. What was up with that?
I am here for you.
Oh, no, hold on.
Okay, then.
Thank you, mods. Very cool. Here, I just want to climb up. Thank you. There we go. Okay. I was like 99% sure I did fast healing. I'm like, hello? Hello? Okay, well. That was weird. That was fun and weird and quirky. Okay, there we go. And then let's try this again. Alright, I can use blood magic. I'm just a little silly. I'm just a little... Okay, drain health is what I need first. Okay. Anyone in here? Yeah, even with all the scuff, I am always a modded girly and... What? I thought I heard someone. Skeever cage. Pets of Skyrim. Oh, hell yeah. Free Scritch? Who's Scritch? Scritch? I want a free Scritch. Well, we'll do that later. Pets of Skyrim sounds more important than whatever the fuck we were doing before. Alright, we have the Iron Battle Axe. What's this? Shadowfoot Sanctum. Okay. Not sure what that is, but that's okay. There he is. Oh, and there's a naked ghost.
Around. Well, no more.
Where is bro? Hello? Is he over here? We're gonna miss the trap. There's the ghost. Oh, she's naked. Oh, hey bro. Okay. That's the right spell, and then there we go. And then I heal back up. There we go. And then blood dagger. Okay, it doesn't use as much damage as I want, but also it is a treat.
There's a very clear winner,
and now we do have the gloves of the pugilist. Pug gloves. We'll call them pug gloves. Scritch! Can I talk to him? Hi, Scritch. Oh, it's like a dog. Dog! Can I pet him? Oh my god, it's Scritch! Look at him! Hi, buddy! Hi! Oh, I'm not gonna pickpocket the rat. He doesn't even have pockets. Okay, well, wait for me at home.
Who'd want to get married in Riften?
Oh, I don't have a home set. God damn it. Well, you know what? Why don't you just come with me? Come with me, okay? This is my dog, everybody. Say hello. Here, let me put my stuff up. This is my dog. Do you like? Oh, look at him! This is Scritch. He's my new dog. Everybody, do you like my dog? You can pet him if you want. He's friendly. He doesn't bite, right, Scritch? Yeah, good boy, good boy. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my little buddy. He don't bite. What the damn dog doing? Listen. What does Pets of Skyrim say? Free is that it? Inquire in town to see if there are any more tamed animals for sale. Okay, if I can get a cat in Skyrim now, I'm gonna lose my shit. Alright, got a little distracted, but that's okay. It was worth it for you, my love. Let's head down, and we need to find the two-legged sheep, and we need to go back to the Ratway, to find Esbern. So, looks like the two-legged sheep is closer, so I guess we'll do. Oh, mama. Okay. Good thing we missed that. Let me quick save. Don't mind me. Oh yeah, this is where we started. So is the two-legged sheep? Looks like we have to go backwards to find the two-legged sheep. Would you explore extended story mods? Yes, we've done. Oh god, what would we? We just finished Worm's Tooth. We did Moon and Star, I think. We haven't done Moonpath to Elsewhere yet. I think it's in this mod pack, but I don't know for sure. I'm trying to think what other story mods we did. We did, what else did we do? We did Forgotten City. I know that was one. I'm trying to think. And we started Project AHO, but we never finished Project AHO. But that was on a different, character. So we haven't done it for this playthrough yet. But I love extended story mods. I love lore. I love stories. I love story mods. So give me any story rec mods that you would like. Can I get back here? I want to find the sheep. Here, hold on. Let me do this. I know it's not the most important thing, but it is the most important thing to me right now. I think I have heard about the Morrowind Skyrim thing. It was that, and there's also one for Oblivion too, right? Skyblivion? Yeah, I've heard of that. Where is Clairvoyance? Show me where the two-legged sheep is. Okay, because I am directionally challenged, and sometimes I need a little help, and that's okay. Alright, here we go. Sometimes I get turned around. I'm very directionally challenged. There's only like 2 places where I'm not directionally challenged. Like, that's the thing is, it's not even just in Skyrim 2. It's just, like, in life in general.
What are you looking at?
Don't worry about it. Oh, wait, is the two-legged sheep out here? Oh, okay, well, I won't do it then. For some reason, I thought the two-legged sheep was going to be It was gonna be in here then. Okay, well that's okay. We'll do all our Ratway quests then. That's fine. But anyway, like there's only like a few places where I'm not directionally challenged, and it's like cities that I like lived in or spent a lot of time in. But most of the places I'm clueless in terms of how to get around. All right, let's see what's over here. Showed of my stats is my favorite spell. I don't know what my favorite spell is. I might have to check that out at some point because I'm kind of curious. We'll follow the ghost because it's closer. Yeah. Okay, this is where we got distracted by the dog. Whoa! Do you remember when I stepped around that the first time? Do you remember when I did that? Okay, thank you, recorder. There's no excuse for that. I'm so sorry.
I must be the thief.
All right, let's see. What's in here? We're gonna find that ghost who is naked for some reason. I know that I had. Oh shit! What's going on over there? What's going on over there? Hey, Queen. How you doing? You come here often? Red, green, blue. Okay. I'm sure that has to do with something. What's this? Oh, pretty sword. Okay, well, fuck everything else. We're doing this now because I want the pretty sword. Okay, well, let's see what's in these doors. Door number 1. Okay, that door is controlled by magic. Cool. Good night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yes, please get some rest, gamer. But thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. Okay, that door is also controlled by magic, but have a good sleep. Nee. Alright, this door, well, that's where we came from. Oh, wait, no, that's where we came from. So this door we can go through. Okay. Let's give me back a little bit of light. And then we'll see what's up. I don't remember this one. Oh, shit. Hello? Ooh. Okay, there's a guardian there. Okay, he does not look like he takes a lot of damage to that stuff. Oh, do you guys want in? Here, guys. Oh, fuck. Open the door. Oh, no. They got locked out of it. No. Okay. Looks like Inigo's got it on lock, though. Okay, goddamn. All right. There we go. Something I also have noticed is my regen rate is pretty good too here. It's a drain health. That's what I'm Alright, now I'll just heal myself off of him while Inigo does the big boy moves. Yeah, what's going on with that? Bye. Bye. Recorder always says the darndest things. Alright, anything else in here? It's probably gonna be one of those things where there's like multiple guardians or like there's a guardian in each chamber and we gotta defeat all of them and that's how we get the thingy. I think I have done this before, but it was a long time ago. Because there's also, because I have distinct memories of not being able to get up to that platform and fucking up the jump. And I will probably fuck it up yet again. Old smuggler's note. Don't mind if I do. We'll read that later. All right, let's see if I can get the jump. No. No. No, we cannot. Okay, that's fine. It's okay. All right, again. All right, let me try again. What? Okay, Z. Oh, right. My shit's not back up yet. Okay, let me see if there's a way I could jump across, maybe? Here, let me use long stride instead of running, because for some reason it was running that fucked me up with it last time. Here, come on. Get up there. Get up there. There we go. All right, ready? All right, 1. There we go. Alright, cool. We don't need shouts where we're going. We don't need them. Alright, well, let's over here. Alright, I've got my lockpicks back, although I only have 1, so if we fuck this up, I'll be sad. There we go. Alright, gold ruby necklace, card, magica potion. Not that good, but that's okay. Not everything can be god tier loot, and that's okay. Let me see. Candlelight. That boop was my computer, by the way, and not yours. David just got off Steam, so now I can play his games. Oh, it's green now. Okay, so I guess we're going into green chamber next. Green room, green room, green room. Do I have anything I can disenchant? Let me see. No, definitely don't disenchant those because they are a display. I want to put them in my museum and cherish them. We are not getting rid of those. Yeah. Yeah, that was my family share. Dave is officially off Steam. Just, oh, you have clothes now. Oh, well, that's good. I know you're, like, evil and everything, but at least you're not, like, naked, you know? We can commend that. You're still showing some ankle, but no one's perfect. That's okay. Alright. Hey. Guardian number 2.
Dragonborn's adventure longer and does my record bigger?
Okay, let me get my drain health back
You'll pay for that extra weight I have to
We're
carry.
gonna need it. Oh my god. Okay, here, can I heal from here? I can. Okay, we are doing damage, it's just kind of minimal. I think the blood drain is meant to not do a ton of damage. Oh wait, that's his flame lead, not mine. Okay. Alright, Inigo, you good? You gonna walk away from the fire? Okay. You're on your phone. There's gotta be more goodies in here too. I'll always take a human heart. Yummy snack for later. Alright, let's see what's in here. Because there's a book in there, and it could be a book for my museum. Let's see. No! No! My one lockpick! That is so sad. Okay. Can we get an F in the chat? That is so sad. Oh, hey, who are you? Verwick Tillall. That's a silly little name. Oh shit, Verwick! Ah! No, my dog's in the way! No! My dog! Okay, thank you. Iron War Axe of Authority. Oh, he has a cool rock. Okay, well, we got that going for us. Thank you, Chet. I appreciate you. Verwick's note. Yeah, what's your deal? What's your deal? I met Seychelle Gutharian on a Morndas outside the docks in the rain. Should have taken it as a sign. We'd done business before, she and I. Smuggling black soul gems, corpses, the kind of dark and dishonest things that would make grown men sleep in pairs. Ooh, yippee! This was different. This was big. The sword she gave me was like nothing I'd ever seen. Teeth like a slaughterfish, and a blood-red gem in the center. I said it must have been one of a kind. That's when she smiled at me and told me there was another. My job was to swap them. We sealed the venture with a coin, of which more was promised later. The mage told me I'd be contacted within a week. A group of our associates would pay us to use the hideout to kill some captain, after which I'd make the switch. She told me to keep this as a secret from the mages, which made me pause, but the details didn't matter much to me. All I wanted to know was the number on the ledger. It was enough. Months later, and the deal had turned rotten. The mages underestimated their own magic, and we agreed. Now we're all paying for the price with our stupidity. Some tried to fight their way out, but the bastard won't die. I'm beginning to think he can't. On top of that, every man that he's felled has risen to fight beside him, making him that much harder to kill. I guess I have no one to blame but myself. I should have trusted my gut from the start. Mage jobs are always a bad stink on them, but this one, hey, I'm a mage. But this one smelled especially foul. Listen, as a mage / witch, I would like everyone to know that I smell really good. Okay, I smell really good. I wear body spray. I wear the Sol de Janeiro, that one. That's like salted caramel. I smell like salted caramel. Or regular caramel. I feel like smelling salty's not. But yeah, I smell good, okay? I smell good. I get told I smell good, okay? So maybe this bitch is stinky, but not all of them. Not me. I was so bad, I convinced me, yourself, and the man was mood sugar. I need your partner's confirmation. David, can you come here?
What?
Can you smell me?
Yeah, no, you're smelly.
Don't, no.
I can smell you.
No, don't. Shut up. Don't lie to me.
You're so smelly.
Can you, no, be for real. Please be for real.
I am being for real.
He's a liar
Let it
and a fraud.
He be smelly.
He's a liar and a fraud, and no one should trust him. I do smell good, okay? He's just being a butthead, okay? He's being a butthead, but that's okay. When the spell went bad, the guild sealed the captain in these chambers and us along with him. Now all I have left is a festering wound, an empty stomach, and the mage's coin to show for it. Damn, that's crazy. Thank you, Yora. I appreciate you. Chances are this coin is probably the only thing that will ever make it out here. But oh, could it tell you a story? Because this coin has brought a lot of lives. It sold a lot of dreams, and it spilled a lot of blood. I know now the coin is cursed, yet for some reason, I can't let it go. Okay. Well, that's cool. Investigate Fildar's tooth. What is that? Faldar's Tooth. Where'd we get that one? Investigate the North Chamber. Yeah, I didn't see another. Maybe in miscellaneous. I just kind of want to see where that is. Will it show me on the map? Oh, kind of, but that's okay. We'll check it out more later then, because I guess it's not in the Ratway. But that does sound interesting.
Sorry, was looking at my files.
You're fine. You're fine. Okay, let's head on out, and we'll go on to the next chamber then, I guess. All right, one more, and then we should be good to go. We'll switch back to frost magic, because I don't think with all the undead, we'll still use blood drain or drain health. But I don't think with all the undead we're fighting, the blood magic's gonna do very well. So we'll do that a little bit later. All right, last chamber, and then we get a cool sword. I love cool sword. All right, blue time. Blue room, blue room, blue room. Okay, so let's see. East chamber, next one. All right. Ooh, water. What's going on? Hey, y'all. Oh, lots of gold on the skeletons. Why does that skeleton... Why do these skeletons have fish on them? Do you guys notice that? Why does the skeleton have a fish? Lavender. Solanus' journal. Our guild has been commissioned to capture and restrain a renegade blades captain. Oh. Many tall tales have been spoken of his cruelty and malice, some even claiming he is part serpent. In addition to bearing the arms of his former employers, it is said that he wields an Akaviri weapon of dark magic. The combination makes him quite formidable. Thankfully, the guild has great experience in dealing with such things, and we will win the day. We encountered our foe, but it all did not go as planned as he escaped us. He was more powerful than we had imagined, and many lives were lost as a result of our misjudgment. Oh, that sucks. However, I am now convinced that his dreaded blade is the source of his power. As I have witnessed firsthand the dark magic it yields, for this blade drinks both life force and mana from any that befall it. We must womp womp. We must think of a way to separate our foe from the source of his power. We have devised a means to separate our foe and the blade, and we must now set a trap and lure him to us. I am certain that it will work, but to be sure, I must think of an incentive to draw him to us. It would be prudent to research this former captain in more depth. Upon reading what I have regarding our captain, my heart almost feels pity for him. It would seem that his madness and malice stem from the loss of his wife. Oh. The records reveal that it was after this tragic event that the darkness of the soul overcame him. Oh, well damn, that's crazy. Why don't you just, like, have a Ben & Jerry's or something? I don't think you need to, like, have, like, the darkness of a soul. Just, like, have a Ben & Jerry's, like, do a face mask, get some DoorDash, and, like, it'll be okay, bestie. You don't need to do all that. However, pity will not save lives. He must be stopped at all event. Therefore, I have decided to acquire the remains of his loved one. Ow! Okay. In the hope that this will draw him to us. Okay, well, listen, I do a lot of stuff, but, personally, listen, I never want to say I'm a role model. I'm not a perfect person. But I'm not a grave robber. So, like...
Is someone there? I guess I can include a few more for
there's
the
that. Like,
annihilation
I do a lot of stuff, but I'm not a grave robber.
That was good.
Oh, there's the Guardian. Hey. Oh, there's more of them. Okay, I guess we gotta fight the smugglers? Should be. God, my magic doesn't do anything. Okay, well... Can I do anything to...
What's magic?
Okay, there we go. Defeat the Guardian.
Yes,
I think I can do damage to the Guardian.
Do keep screaming in pain.
Oh, shit.
That
Okay.
makes the fight that much more.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I am doing it. Okay, cool. Alright, there's another guy. Oh, shit. There's a lot of guys here. Okay, whoa.
Stay
Oh, okay.
still. Seriously.
I don't even know where everyone is.
this will be so
Oh, he's... Wait, no, he's sucking me off. No! You can't do that. That's my thing. Don't suck me off. I'll suck myself off. Thank you very much.
Ow. I'm beginning to understand
Give me your sauce. There we go. Okay.
I guess you're
Alright, I'm just gonna heal myself off here. Because I want the blood magic points.
Die. Ow.
And then everyone else will get it. Okay, there we go. You gonna come back? Okay. Hopefully this is the last
I
time.
can include a few more for the
There we go.
annihilation
Suck.
records.
And then everyone else will get it while I heal myself. Whoa, shit. Okay. Come on. Seems like this drain health has a higher range than the other one we used to use. So that's nice. This other one was kind of a short range.
All right. Time for some action.
Oh wait, that's wait. Oh fuck. He's a person now. He's not just like a ghost.
Winning this battle.
All right, now that we're full health again, let's do that.
More to come.
Aha! All right. I think the rest of us should be able to get it. I want to heal up before. There we go. All right, excellent job, Scritch. Fantastic work. All right, do we not get to loot him? Here we go. I mean, these are just the smugglers. There we go. Letter from home. Blades armor. Let's fucking go. Okay, give me all of that good shit. Okay, we have a full set of... Is that a full set of Blades armor? Let's fucking go. Okay. Thank you, random ghost man. Very cool. Oh, shit. Hey. Oh, they're in love. Yay. And now I get the sword. Everyone wins. Everyone's happy. Dawn Fang. Oh my god, look at that thing. That's cool as fuck. Alright. Cool. Well, that was fun. We got a cool sword and we got a full set of Blades armor. I am a happy camper. Alright, let's keep going. Let's get back on track. We got a little bit sidetracked, but that's okay. I was trying to think of something funny to say about sucking off of my GF, but I couldn't think of it. That's okay. That's okay. I'm sure the time will come. Whenever you're ready. Okay, let's get back on track. Not get hit by traps, and then we will now find Esbern. We will see where he's going. Oh fuck, Ragged Flagon. Okay, shit. Yeah, we are gonna do Thieves Guild eventually. I don't know when is the thing. I don't know when the time will be right for it. I think we're gonna do the evil quest back to back or like at the same time, because I think it'd be more fun to do them at the same time. All right. Hey. Hi.
If you're looking for conversation, the flagon isn't the place.
Hi.
You'd better have coin to pay for your drinks. There's no handouts here.
That's fine. I'm looking for an old guy.
Huh. Lot of old guys around. I don't really know how I can help.
I need to talk to him. I'm afraid. His life's in danger.
That's a touching story. Now get out of my face.
Oh shit. Okay, look. I think we're gonna have to give him money.
Lot of old
Here.
guys. Big talk for someone with a light purse.
Did I not
Huh.
click the right
Lot
one?
of old
shit.
guys around. I don't really know how I can help. There's no need for that.
Oh, okay, violence
Not like
works.
he's
I
a
thought
friend
giving
of
him
mine
money
or
was gonna work,
anything.
but I guess
Just
violence
calm
is the
down.
option here.
He's
Okay.
holed up in the Ratway Warrens. Hardly ever leaves the place. Has someone bring him food and such.
Oh, damn.
Crazy old coot from what I've heard. For that to stand out down here, he must really be off his nut.
I am also really off my nut. Where does he live? Like just there?
He's holed up in the Ratway Warrens. Be careful. You're not the only one looking for him.
Okay. All right. Well, now we know where to go. Thank you. I don't need to beat anybody up. Guys, I know we're having fun, but it is time to go. We gotta go. All right. Let's head out here. And let's see what's going on. All right. If I recall correctly, finding him wasn't too hard, so we should be okay. We should be fine. Okay.
There's the blade.
Wait, what? No. There's a misunderstanding. There's a misunderstanding. You got the you don't understand. You got the wrong gal. That's not me. That's not me. Oh shit. Okay, there's more of them. Fast healing? There we go. See, that was fast healing! That was fucking fast healing!
Stay.
That was not the blood spell! Did you see that?
It would be so much easier if you'd stop squirming.
Did you see that? That was not. No, I'm not letting it do that naturally. I'm loading. It was too fast. That might have been it. I think that might be it. But that was not the spell. Okay.
There's the blade. Too easy. Kill her.
All right. Let's do this first. Okay, that does do too much damage, actually. Yeah, okay. I am not beefy enough to use that spell when I'm tanking, because my friends weren't tanking for me yet. So let's switch out the spells real quick. All right, let's do let's see, Blood Boil costs 50, Blood Drain costs 50. This costs 50. Cost 100. We'll definitely do drain health, and we'll do blood dagger instead. I think that'll be fine.
Never should have
Yeah, I'm not doing like any damage. I do probably just need to put more points in the tree first. But
How does a blade to your heart sound? Or maybe your neck?
I guess we got it.
I'm feeling
Someone bonked him. Okay, there we go. Should be more. I like what? Fuck! That wasn't even. I didn't. Okay.
You know what I would
Cares. Ah! Okay, I need to be more careful. I'm just gonna sit back, let my friends go, and I'm just gonna use blood drain. Just nothing but blood drain until I'm a less of a baby. Cause right now I'm kind of a baby, and that's okay. That's fine. Or drain health. There we go. Drain health. Drain health. Nice spike. There we go. Okay.
There's the blade. Kill her.
Okay. You guys don't need to say the same thing. It's fine. Get that shit out of here. Get that shield shit out of here. That's what I thought. Okay. Alright, you guys go on ahead. You guys tank. I'm a baby. You guys need to tank. Okay. This one doesn't do magic, so at least we've got that. Yeah, they're only level 4. So it should be fine. Okay. Nothing good over here. Oh shit, hey. Okay. I'm looking to see if there's any displays I can take. Honestly, the full set of Blades armor was a massive fucking find, not gonna lie. Okay. Looks like that's all of them. There's something going on in here. Here, let me quick save. Something's going on. You guys coming? Cool. Shouldn't be too much further. Anyone else gonna try and murder me, or are we cool? Are we chilling? Looks like we're chilling. Yeah, we should be. Oh. Hole. Okay. Cool. We might just need to go down the hole. That's fine. That might be the easiest way to do this. Yeah, let's just go down the hole. Hole. Have fun being gay. Thank you for hanging out, Ash. I hope you had a good time. Have fun being gay. Alright. There we go. Oh, well, that's a convenient spot to land in all the goo that sets everything on fire. Okay. Alright, well, we missed the goo. But thank you, gamer. Alright, let's head out. And see what's in the warrant. Alright. I didn't come for a gooping. I don't want to get gooped. Yeah, well, it doesn't look like he's too... Oh, god damn it, I'm out of lockpicks. Are we just fucked if we don't have a lockpick? Okay, we can walk around. We can walk around. That's good.
Bucket, knife, book, ink pot.
Their fires lit up the night.
I hear the
across
unguy.
Lake Rumer, like stars come to Earth. It was beautiful, really.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess you just live down here. That's cool. That's my dog. You like my dog? I like my dog. Oh my god, you're dual-wielding staffs?
Yes.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yes. Bucket? Yes.
Yeah.
Ink pot?
Ah, so tender. Come here, you juicy morsel. I'm
Oh,
gonna eat
he's
well
gonna try
tonight,
to
my
eat.
darling.
Okay, there ain't room for 2 cannibals in this town. This town ain't big enough for the 2 of us. Alright, let's try another one again. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. What? Wait. Alright, suck. That's the thing is, right now, Blood Drain doesn't, like, regen as fast as
Let's
I'd
play
like
a
to.
game. It's called
But the other one is starting to do
Don't worry.
I need to figure out how
There's
to
a
open the
very
tree.
clear winner.
Because I think we should be able to level up Blood Magic soon. I don't know if we can level it up. I need to look. Also, he just stopped. But that's okay. Alright. You got anything cool? No. Here's what I want to check real quick. Because we do have a level up. Let me see. Because I know there's a... Is it the one thing where it's like... Transfusion. Is it a separate, like, power to open it up? Blood Magic Dash, Blood Magic Hemomancy. There we go. I have 65 blood points to spend. Okay, let's quick save, because as far as I know, we could fucking die for opening the menu. Oh, wait. The deaf lady wants to kill us? Why? I didn't do anything. Is she naked? Ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not gonna kill you. What? No, god damn it! We are not killing a. Okay, she's not naked at least, but guys. God, Inigo! She wasn't doing anything! She doesn't even have any good loot! Besides the moral issue here, but guys! Anyway, alright, I have 65 points to spend. Alright, let's see. What's going on over here? Hemophilia. Okay, I need 100, okay, it's good that the first thing is less health cost. I need 100 blood magic points to unlock. I only have 65 right now, if I recall correctly. So, how do I get out of it? Okay, I don't want to accidentally kill myself in the menu. How do I leave? Do I just press it again? Yeah, okay, cool. So, we don't have enough to get there yet, but we'll get there soon. Why they just murdered that woman? Not quite sure, gonna be honest, but alright, here we go. Hello?
Go away!
Esbern, open the door, I'm a friend.
What? No, that's not me. I'm not Esbern.
Well, it
I don't
says
know
your
what
name's
you're talking
Esbern
about.
right here. Delphine sent me.
Delphine? How do you... So you finally found her, and she led you to me.
Yeah, that
And
sounds
here
about
I
right.
am, caught like a rat in a trap.
She needs your help.
So Delphine keeps up the fight after all these years.
Yeah.
You'd better come in and tell me how you found me and what you want.
Okay. Alright.
This'll just take a moment.
No worries. Take your time.
This one always sticks. There we go.
Nice.
Only a couple more.
You're like taking your time there, huh? Bro, how locked up are you?
There we are. Come in, come in. Make yourself at home.
Thanks, bro.
That's
Oh, you got a lot of books here.
Now we can talk.
You got a lot of books here. And I can just take them. It doesn't count as stealing. Oh. I love books. My library grows. Oh. No. I don't think I want to follow Clavicus Vile because low-key, pray to accept a pack and complete it within the allotted time. Never break or ignore my packs. That's a lot of commitment. I don't think I'm ready to commit to something like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. That sounds like a lot.
So Delphine keeps up
Sorry,
the
I
fight
was just looting
after
your
all these
stuff.
years.
Yes.
I thought she'd have realized it's hopeless
Yes.
by now. I tried to tell her years ago.
What do you mean it's hopeless?
Haven't you figured it out yet? What more needs to happen before you all wake up and see what's going on? Alduin has returned, just like the prophecy said. The dragon from the dawn of time will devour the souls of the dead. No one can escape his hunger, here or in the afterlife. Alduin will devour all things, and the world will end. Nothing can stop him. I tried to tell them. They wouldn't listen. Fools. It's all come true. All I could do was watch our doom approach.
Damn. The dragon who's raising the others?
Yes, yes. You see, you know, but you refuse to understand.
Guys, personal space, personal space. Personal space.
Oh, yes.
Guys,
It's all
personal
been
space.
foretold. The end has begun.
We're Lydia.
Alduin has returned.
Personal space.
Only a dragonborn can
Personal
stop.
space.
But no dragonborn has been known for centuries.
She just makes it all about
seems that
her.
the gods have grown tired.
I'm the dragonborn.
They've left us to our fate as the plaything of Alduin the World.
Well, it's not hopeless. I'm dragonborn.
What?
Yeah.
You are? Can it really be true? Dragonborn?
Yeah.
Then
That's me.
there is hope. The gods have not abandoned us. We must go. Quickly now. Take me to Delphine. We have much to discuss.
Okay. Well, before we do that, I want to see what books you have. I want your books. I have a library I'm building. Little nice museum in Solitude. It's really cool. Should check it out sometime. It's a very cool museum. Is that cool rock? No, that's a butterfly wing. Okay, I think we got all we can, because all the other books oh wait, no, there's more books over here.
One moment. I know time.
Yeah, okay. That's another one we can take. Let's see.
Leave secrets for the Falcon.
Lockpick. Give me those lockpicks, actually.
Must bring. Well, I guess that's good enough. Let's be off.
Alright, let's head out. Alright. Huh? What? The fucking Thalmor. Oh, those are big Thalmor. Did you see what level they are? Oh, those are. That is big boy Thalmor. How are they? Because there's. Hey!
There's the PlayStation.
We're just gonna do that. And then I want to keep doing drain health because I want blood points. Okay. There we go. And that guy's got his shield up. Oh shit. Oh my god. Big boy. Big boy McGee's over there.
The irony of fire.
Alright, there we go. I'm helping. I'm helping. I'm sucking him off to death.
Aren't you lucky?
I know that joke is old, but it makes me mad. There we go. Alright, anything else?
At least that's what my
No. Okay. And you got this big guy, I guess.
Sorry.
That's cool.
I was looking at my phone.
Excuse me. Alright, is this the way we're going? Here we go. Alright. Into the rat way. Okay, let's see. We'll go through here. And then I think we can just walk right out. I do want to... I am going to take him to Riverwood, but I also want to go... Well, how's our carry weight doing? We're actually doing really good on carry weight. We are not running out of stuff at all. We have a lot of room. But we also have a lot of cool stuff, so that's why I'm like... like, I kind of just want to like see how many displays we have. I feel like we have a lot more displays. Alright. I'm going to actually turn on clairvoyance because... I always get lost in the rat way. And I feel like that's part of the bit with the rat way is getting, like, you know, it's meant to be kind of like, whoa. But, like, I don't feel like getting lost right now. I got things to do. Places to be. Okay? I'm a busy lady. Okay? Okay. Okay, the answer is not whole this time. Last time the answer was whole, not this time. Okay, I think I know where I'm going now. Alrighty. And we'll do long strides so I can go fast. Wait, is that the right way? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright, cool. I understand why you can't fast travel inside, but this is a big ass like system of shit. I do wish I could fast travel somewhere from here. Although I think there's a way to... Yeah, isn't there a way to get out through here? No, maybe not. I thought there was a way to get outside, like, quickly from here. But, I guess... Yeah, isn't there? Maybe I'm missing it. Although, maybe it might be... I think it's only something you have if you're in the Thieves Guild. So that might be why that is, actually. Because I think it is behind a Thieves Guild door. So that would make sense. This way? No, that's the pet room. Let's see.
How much farther do we have to run?
Not much farther. We're almost done. Then we can that's where I just wanted. Then we can fast travel. Don't worry, we're almost done. We're almost done. Is it here? That's Shadowfoot Sanctum. Because I remember this room. Here, guys. Okay, let me turn back on clairvoyance because I'm stupid. You're done crabbing? Hell yeah. I haven't done like crabs or anything in a really long time, and like I'm from Maryland. So it's like, I have no excuse. I want to do it again, but it's been a long time. Although I might be going to beach soon, so who knows. Can I... Dog! Dog! Dog, can we... Dog! Guys, can we scooch? Can we... Guys! Guys, please! Can I please just... Guys! Oh my god. Okay, dog. Go find food. Thank you. Alright, come on. Scritch, are you gonna go? There he goes. Okay. God damn it. Alright, it's this way we go. As a Floridian crab is also a measle. Yeah, you get it. You get it. No, yeah. I remember there was one year, it was when I graduated high school for senior week. we had one of my friends had a beach house like right like oceanfront in Ocean City, and we went and they had like stuff for crabbing, and we thought about doing it, but we never did because none of us knew how. Or wait, no, I think we did catch some crabs, but we didn't know how to, that's what it was. We didn't know how to catch the crabs. We caught the crabs, but we didn't know how to cook them. So that's why we stopped. Okay, guys, all right. This is what happens when you have a big fucking party. All right, let's just fast travel to Riverwood, because we've been in, I don't want to stay in Riften. Like, respectfully, I'm good. I'm done with Riften. And then we'll see what's going on. And then I do kind of want to teleport to the museum real quick, just because we do have a lot of, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't need to. Because we still have a ton of carry weight, but I just, like, I don't know. I'm excited. We have a lot of new stuff. Let me see. Yeah, I guess we can wait. It's fine. Like lobster, you boil them alive and listen to me screams. Yes. I think, yeah, I didn't know, like, much about cooking at the time. I still don't know much about cooking. Much less did any of my friends. There he is. Bjorn Longsword. What a guy. What a fella. Oh, Bjorn, you quirky little man. Or big man, I guess. Alright.
Come on in.
Let's see.
Warm food, warm drinks, and warm beds.
Delphine. I got your buddy. Got your friend.
Do you need something?
I got your friend. I guess I just need to let him
Yes.
walk forward. Ah! Sorry. I'm not playing Minecraft. Thank you for the bits. I'm not playing Minecraft. Why did that fuck me up? Thank you, though, Gamer. I appreciate you. I'm just like, why am I mad? Like, why did I?
It's good to see you too, Esbern. It's been too
Candleberg
long.
looks a
old
little
friend.
awkward. He's like,
Too
damn.
long.
They're having this heartfelt
Well,
reunion. I'm just sitting here.
You
with
made
my
it safe and sound.
potatoes.
Good. Come on. I have a place we can talk.
Is it the special room?
Hold down the bar for a minute.
I like the special room. Honestly, the way her hideout looks is very, very cool. I like this a lot. It's a nice little setup. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna do some quirky alchemy things. Like, don't mind me. I'm just doing some alchemy because I don't want to wait for them to walk down the stairs. Let me actually take all this stuff too.
We don't exactly have haystacks or crowds to hide in. So
No,
let's
I don't
keep
want to
this
talk to you.
chat to a
I'm
minimum.
trying to take potions. Give me these potions. Ugh, I'm trying to give. Okay, I guess we'll take the rest later. That's okay. All right, you guys are you guys coming down here? Oh wait, are they going somewhere else? Oh no, they're trying to come down here. Guys, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Milky shaky time. I want a milky shaky, dude. I would kill for a milky shaky right now, not gonna lie. But I'm on a diet. Although we might have to go out to eat because David made dinner, but then dinner did not turn out well. So I am probably gonna end stream soon because normally I eat dinner before stream, but there was no dinner today. And respectfully,
no time to lose.
I'm hungry. Oh yeah, there's the blades armor thing.
Esbern, what?
Give me.
Do I have a Shrine of Talos? I think I do already. Yeah. I'm just snooping while they're talking, low-key.
You see, right here, Sky Hate Alduin's Wall. One of the lost
Dinner, don't be
secrets
dinner
of the
today.
Blade.
I think what happened is we
Where
had
they
these
recorded all
sausages,
the
and I
news
think they were in the
of
freezer
Alduin
for
and
too
his
long,
return.
so they got kind of
Part
icky.
history, part
And apparently,
prophecy.
like David
His
came in
location
because I was gonna
was
eat
lost
while I
for
was on my
centuries.
stream starting
But
soon
I
screen,
have
and he came
found
in
it again.
and he was like, "Don't eat the sausages,
lost,
they're ass.
just
I'm throwing them out." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
The Blade's archives held so
But
many
I am.
secrets. I was only able to save a few
hungry.
scraps.
So you think Alduin's Wall will tell us how to defeat Alduin?
Yes, exactly. Well, I think so. It's certainly our best hope. The
Very
ancient
confident.
blades remembered much Akaviri dragon lore that has now been forgotten.
Where is it?
Warm bed.
This is what I've been trying to explain.
Sorry, I wasn't
It's
paying
in
attention.
the Sky-Haven Temple, an ancient blade sanctuary hidden deep in the crags of the Reach.
That's where we'll find Alduin's Wall.
Nice. Okay.
So you think that Alduin's Wall will tell us how to defeat Alduin?
Well, yes. But there's no guarantee, of course.
Skyhaven Temple it is then.
Hey, what's going on with these
I
arrows,
knew
by
you'd
the
have
way?
something for us, Esbern.
Like, I know this
the
is-
area
oh.
of the Reach that Esbern's talking about. Near
Can we
what's
talk
now
about the
known as
floating
Karthspire
arrows,
in
by the way?
Karth River
I'd
Canyon.
like to talk about that
We
for a
can meet
moment.
you there, or all travel together. Your call.
I'll meet you there. because
Your
we've
call.
got the
Might
whole...
be safer to travel separately.
I've got a
Attract
bit
less
of an
attention that way.
entourage already,
Don't
bestie.
worry, I'll get Esbern there in one
We
piece.
got the whole
We'll
squad
wait for you
moving.
near Karthspire. Good luck.
All right, cool. So I think this would be a good place to end stream because, respectfully, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. But thank you, gamers, so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to turn my background music on because I don't like when it's silent. But thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you had a good time. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you are new in town and you'd like to know more about me and my streams, get alerts for when I go live, I do have a Discord. And then also, I have a YouTube where I upload all my VODs. I will be uploading this one soon. And then I also have all this stuff. And I wrote a book. Well, I'm still writing it, but I'm working on it. Thank you, Yora. I appreciate you. But that's all my... Thank you for the bits, Epic. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah. And then there's my Twitter. Yeah, me. So let's see who we want to go raid. And we'll see... What is up? Who is live right now? Who's going on? I went to open fucking, I went to open Twitch and there was the homecoming dress we talked about. We will go raid, let's raid. We'll raid Prim. She's playing a dating sim. She's playing a monster girl dating sim. So I think you guys will enjoy that. I love Primrose. She's very sweet. She's one of my former students. We'll do, what should our raid message be? We'll do Blood for the Blood God again, because it was fun. Blood for the Blood God. And then if you have emotes, please spam a gun. Please spam me with the gun. All right. Good night, gamers. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I will catch you later. All right.